Next one was 21st place by slakkmichael, The Frozen Way. I've done it again. I'm used to just hitting File A on all of these. Here's my entry. Hope you enjoy. Why do you want to know my name? I don't want to know your name.
You don't have to sign it with your name.
Exactly. Even in snow, Yoshi goes to save his friends. What a good guy. The Frozen Way. Anything you see is frozen, you can walk on just fine, including enemies. Some objects won't work by being frozen, however. So, I mentioned this last time, I'll mention it again here because it's important. I really like this level, and I like how it's a purely visual gimmick.
Yes.
Everything that is frozen is solid. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Except those half-bills.
Except the half-bills, yeah. This platform is frozen, so it doesn't fall. So, there's something about it I really liked. Like, this frozen launcher doesn't fire. I just think it's, I think it's really cute in that regard. Oops. I rushed it because there's a small race here.
The music did not need to change there.
No, it doesn't. It's only there for like 2 seconds. Then we're right back to this. And this is where we would have met up. Right, he's frozen. I also like the fallen frozen spike. This was, I remember we didn't check down here but last time. Aha! Obviously lives do nothing in the game, but there is still something nice about collecting 1-ups and moons. I've talked about this in, probably not on a video, not that I can remember. But, a difficulty with... a lot of people will say Mario should just remove lives. Like, video games, lives are outdated. They have no purpose or anything like that. And...
we have definitely talked about this.
I agree to a point. The problem... this is something Mario specifically would encounter. How do you reward players?
Yeah.
All of the rewards in Mario, aside from power-ups, all the non-power-up rewards, let's say, revolve around lives. Coins. What are coins in Mario? In Super Mario World, what are coins? They just, 100 of them get you a life.
I think...
what are Yoshi coins?
Like, other than lives, you have, what, the star coins that unlock new levels, and I think that's it?
In newer games, yeah.
But, like, yeah, you have like, you're missing that large scale, I think I called them, I've said the word macro reward before. Because coins feel good to collect, but if lives aren't worth anything, they don't feel good to collect, and you lose a point to coins in the first place.
Mario Odyssey got away with it because, you don't need...
it's a 3D collectathon game. Those small things are there entirely to guide you, and that's it.
Well, I was going to say the reason it works is because coins are their own reward in that you use them to buy things.
Yeah, that too.
But if you get rid of coins from traditional style Mario games, or not coins, lives from traditional Mario games, what do you reward the player with? Lives are really good for those micro challenges, essentially. For those little, hey, take a risk or whatever, get a bonus, get a reward. It's basic risk reward in video games, I think. And I think it's worth keeping them in that regard, just because it's like, what else do you give in a game? You'd have to, I mean, obviously Mario could restructure itself to have more tangible rewards beyond lives. But, you know, I don't know what we would do. The score doesn't matter. And if coins don't matter, what do you do in replacement for coins? So, it depends on the game, obviously, but I think they have to still exist in Mario for at least some level of, hey, risk-reward.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a little bit of extra talk. Let's see. This was The Frozen Way. So I really liked this level. I gave it an 87 out of 100. The gimmick here is entirely visual, and I actually liked it a fair bit. What was neat about all the frozen enemies and elements was that it felt like this castle had a bunch of different places that would normally be inaccessible. But thanks to the frozen stuff, Mario was able to find alternate paths through. The only enemy I didn't like seeing, frozen, was the bullet bills embedded in walls, because I didn't actually trust that they would be solid, which ran counter to the message box you left. And later I saw that they weren't solid when the Koopa fell through one. While they were a nice visual touch, they would have been better left behind just because they are the only thing that doesn't match your message. The level's design itself was pretty nice, with lots of up and down to go along with the frozen enemies and climbing up walls. Yoshi coins and feathers were rewards for exploration and taking the harder path, which made them worth going for. The Big Boo fight at the end wasn't much special, but it was nice that it kept its frozen theme going with some frozen enemies and elements visible throughout. Maybe it would have been nice to have some of the throw blocks be frozen too, just so it wasn't so easy to run up there and grab any block that was lying around. One nitpick, the skin tone palette on the red Koopas make them look a little sickly for some reason. Not sure why you didn't just keep the same skin tones across all 4 Koopa palettes. Overall though, really nicely done level. You can tell it's a small nitpick.
I think I said the bullet bills would have worked if they were like upright but just sitting on the ground, because you could have had them be solid and it would have looked like they fell out of the sky because they got flash frozen.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was still a really fun level. It's just that, like, there's just a little bit wrong with it. But otherwise, I mean, 87 is pretty great. Next is tied for 47th by King Boo, Knuck If You Chuck. Oh no, Mario. Watch out for the footballs. Footballers. And the baseballers. And the angry man. I'm surprised that actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh no! Spin jump when you see blue, collect the question orb to win, find all 5 Yoshi coins. I love Mario music in Super Mario World now. We can just do whatever we want at this point.
Thank you, Orchestra Hit.
It's just so funny to me that we have the ability to make all this music like we do now. I mean, I guess it's not funny, but it's just, it's like, man, we have come a long way. Custom music was, back in 2008, custom music was deemed impossible. And then
It wasn't impossible, it's just that all we had was literally porting, using a hex editor, the music from Super Mario All-Stars.
Yes, that's true. Easy music editing. Because, like, it was a huge thing. The SMB3 music pack, I failed this jump.
You did that last time, too.
I did. The SMB3 music pack was a huge deal when it came out. And it wasn't perfect, but it basically replaced all of the music from Mario World with the exact tracks from All-Stars, which was kind of neat, because it actually came with all the samples and everything properly. Because for the first few years of Super Mario World music, we did not have that luxury. We had, like, very, like, poor quality ports for the most part, because we were very limited.
I remember one of my first posts on an A7 board was asking, hey, do you think we'll ever get MP3s in Mario World? And everyone called me an idiot. So we have the MSU1 chip now. Who's the idiot, nerds?
It's still you for trying to use MSU1.
Oh yeah, no.
It's super cool, but holy moly.
What do you mean you don't want full 480p full motion videos in your Mario World hacks?
Hey, I mean 480p. Consider the game is it's like 256 by 224. That's pretty good resolution.
My head followed Mario through that jump.
Look. Sometimes you gotta go for it. But anyways, it was fun growing up through all the changes that came with Mario hacking. Ooh. The music was considered like the last frontier of Mario hacking for a while, and obviously we've opened up some new frontiers and things like that since then, if you even want to call them like frontiers, but we have new goals basically, but they're less tangible, I suppose, than the addition of fully custom music tracks and stuff like that. Now it's more like, how complicated can we make certain things? How crazy can we make bosses or sprites that are really interesting and stuff like that? How do we expand our design to the next level? It's fun watching all that happen. I think that's why I've stuck around. It's nighttime. Thank you for making. Alright, this is Knuck If You Chuck. I gave it a 70 out of 100. This level had some interesting ways of working chucks into athletic setups with rotating and floating platforms, as well as using chuck rocks and footballs as obstacles. Footballs are less good because they're random, but I was able to maintain fireballs throughout the level, so they were mostly a null issue. Some jumps felt semi-blind even with coins, just because it was tough to see what you'd be falling onto in certain cases, visually parts felt kind of lazy because you relied heavily on cement blocks for platforms. I appreciate that they were two-tone if nothing else. Second section looked better, but the background felt empty because it was just a gradient and nothing else. It was okay and provided a decent challenge, but I couldn't help but feel like it needed a little more to it. I'm not even saying a longer level because it was already a little long, but like it needed something else inside it to really stand out. Maybe I'm looking for a tighter focus on the platforms or chucks, since you pretty much used all the different variations available to you, instead of choosing a few that worked well and exploring their uses. It's still not a bad level though. It's fun. I like what this level's doing. It feels like kind of really pure platforming, essentially. I just think it could look a little better in certain places, and stuff like that. You got anything else?
Nope.
Thanks for being here.
It's hard to say things because I feel like I've already said them, even though I
know
technically haven't.
I'm trying. Don't worry. This is the last one of the ones that we got to last night. The next one coming up. 23rd by Sancles, Temple of the Fish Gods. We're going early enough through that we might actually get to do an extra one or two.
Nice.
Thanks, Luigi.
Cool.
Let's be honest, this would have been much worse than post-commentary. Bowser stole Mario's alcohol collection and the stores are all closed on the weekend. Time to kill Bowser again. Temple of Fish Gods. This was a nice one to end on last night because it's really pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mentioned with the last one, there's a lot of pure platforming going on in it. The blurbs are actually Eries. It turns out that you can replace Eries with blurbs fairly often because they function almost... Come on, get it together. They function almost exactly the same in their movement patterns. Oh, I was too fast for the saw. And I did not course correct in time. This really is the hardest part about re-recording something, especially doing it right after we did, you know, last night. It's just because, like, we said all this stuff, we had good conversations, it's like, what do we say now? Post-commentary would have been way worse. I wouldn't have an active, you know, be actively playing. And let's be honest, the interesting part about what we did last night was the talking.
Yeah.
It sucks to lose that stuff. We had this happen to us in the 9 LP as well. Remember we lost, but that time we lost the video.
I have all my words, even if you don't have yours.
Ah, yes. The special edition Tai only track.
Where in the last half I'm just falling asleep and not saying anything.
Yeah.
Because I got really tired last night. I don't know why.
Yeah, and then we stayed up and played an hour and a half of Monhun.
Then I was really awake after that.
PW's going for Basil armor right away. No, not Basil, Behemoth. Right after getting past final boss, I'm like, you shouldn't do that.
He's gonna burn out on the game again.
Like, it's considered. My brother has played I don't know how many hours of this game. But I'm gonna take an estimate that he's played at least like 500 hours of the game at this point.
Probably played more than I have.
Probably. And he was straight up. I mean, even the quest in the game itself straight up says like, this is an extremely hard quest. And it's like, you really want to do that? Like, right coming off of the final boss? I know there's a low, like, you know, an easier version of it, but
the easier version doesn't give the good rewards.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I think it's a bad idea for him to try and do that. This part is cool. I like this part. These kinds of two-platform rides are always kind of neat, especially if they're well-designed, because you end up with, you know, these desynced platforms moving back and forth that you need to, like, consider in your movements.
It's like a dueling roller coaster. Oh boy. Go Rip Van Fish, go! It's my friend Porcupuffer again.
It is. Also, if you try to jump on that platform, you always take a hit. But if you jump off of him... Oh, I gotta rush. Okay.
Yeah, this is cool. This line guide section is really cool.
I should have been on the bottom platform.
Yep.
Whew. Made it through in one. We made it to the Temple of Fish Gods.
Nice. We did it.
Wow, we definitely have time to keep going.
Well, you're just
That's
beating
fine,
the
we'll
levels
knock
way
out
faster.
some more. Well, yeah. I'm just going back in here for better music while we sit and wait. This is Temple of Fish Gods. 76 out of 100. I think the first half of the level was a bit better designed, if only because I felt it get a bit more. I felt it was a bit more manageable than the second half. It was cool to see the Rip Van Fish get used out of water, since they act a little differently that way. Using them to spin jump across spikes looks dangerous at first, but it was actually easier doing so with a grinder since they move slower. Apparently, my eyes can't read right now. And communicate with my brain and mouth. I can tell you took the time to carefully align and time the line guides in the second half, but I felt like they were a little too weirdly placed at times. For one, I could never get past the Porcupuffer without taking a hit, because he always positioned exactly in the middle of the platform I needed to jump on to proceed, and messing up a jump meant falling into the pit. By contrast, the first half felt more fair because you would often get penalized for messing something up, but just landing on spikes, letting you continue on and try again next time. Since it wasn't on line guides, it also meant you could just take your time, and I enjoyed that section a fair bit. Lastly, I think the final few screens of the second half were unnecessary, since they didn't really add anything new after the line guides were done. I'd have just cut the screens and ended it after the line guides finished, so you weren't left with this hanging bit of level design that looks like it wanted to be part of the first half, but couldn't be, otherwise it'd make that part too long. I like this level. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's got a few flaws, but overall I like it. It commits to, like, what it wants to do, using the fish in weird ways. It even has the layer 3 fish hanging out in here for extra weirdness. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, the line guide section was really cool. I like line guides. I just like them.
Well, we have some more time, so I guess we should keep going.